Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So, Bitcoin has been pretty stagnant. So, when is the best time to buy? I get asked that every single day. But you know what? I have something interesting to show you guys. A new chart that indicates that this could be the right time. So, let's jump right into it. I'll skip my usual intro. Let's get right into it. Bitcoin, as you can see, is right around 19,200. We did have a little bump up this past week, and I'll get to some of the more macroeconomic stuff that drove Bitcoin higher and interesting things going on in Europe right now. But I did find something very interesting that I want to show you guys, led really by the miners. We know that Bitcoin is getting stronger. As hard as that may seem, or as hard as that may seem right now with price being down, right? But take a look at the hash rate. The hash rate is climbing, and at all-time high. Difficulty to mine Bitcoin is an all-time high too, right? So what does this mean? The miners are not going away. The miners that are supporting the network, they continue to get bigger and stronger, and so does Bitcoin's network, right? So the hash rate continues to go up, and that led me to this from CryptoQuant. Okay, I have shown you guys a lot of bottom indicators, a lot of reversal indicators, a lot of models that show Bitcoin about to reverse and go back up since we've been so stagnant for so long. But here's a very interesting one, and this makes a whole lot of sense. You look at the hash rate of Bitcoin compared to the mining revenue, okay? So obviously, right now, with hash rate up and difficulty up, mining revenue is actually, you know what, down, right? Because the competition is fierce. Everyone wants to get that last Bitcoin, but because the price is down, obviously, then the rewards is not as much as before. But regardless, they continue to mine, continue to hash. And if you look at how that relates to a bottom, look at what has happened before. Whenever this ratio goes up, which basically means that the miners are getting closer and closer to break-even point. Usually when that happens, that's usually when Bitcoin finds a bottom and gets back up. Usually that's the point where people have completely capitulated. All the retail people have left. The only people left in the space are the long-term holders and the miners. And that's usually when things go back up. So you can see back in 2018, 2019, that's when Bitcoin fell to 3,000. And then same thing, 3,800 back in 2020. We also had another stint right around that 10K mark too. And now look at where it is, right? Hovering right now. We're a lot higher than before, 19,000, but way, way higher than before. But again, even though we're higher, we've been here for a while, so this could be good. This could be good. Another indicator that shows that we may have found that bottom and Bitcoin is about to reverse. And this is what we want and what we're waiting for, especially since we got a couple more weeks until November. December, traditionally very, very bullish. So we go get that reversal and get some momentum before the end of the year. Well, maybe. All right. Now, I wanted to lead off with that, but of course, there's other things that are driving things up. I mentioned about the macro stuff, right? So let's get to that. On Friday, Dow went up almost 800 points. NASDAQ went up, right? So U.S. markets started coming up. Why? Now there's this notion that the Fed may pivot or become more dovish, right? So even a San Francisco Fed president, Mary Daly, said that, hey, maybe it's time to start talking about slowing rate hikes. That's, of course, what everyone is waiting for, right? We have another FOMC meeting that's coming up the very first and 2nd of November. Wall Street investors, Bitcoin holders, everyone is looking for a dovish Jerome Powell, hoping that the rate hikes will slow down and eventually stop, right? And there's a bigger, I don't know, notion that it could actually happen. So that is the reason why I think that the U.S. market is getting more bullish again, because there's this notion that maybe the pivot is around the corner. The Treasury yields actually dip, so that's also positive. When Treasury yield dip in the U.S., that means there's less investors scared of what may happen, and they're taking money out of the dollar and they're putting into other things. And that is why the DXY also went down significantly on Friday. I didn't even notice. I think Friday morning when I was streaming, it was like 114, getting close to 115 or 114, and now we're back down to 111. So these are all very positive things. Okay, so again, year-end rally, year-end upward trajectory could be possible it will certainly be possible if we get a Fed pivot, we get a more dovish Powell, and we'll get that good Santa rally afterwards, right? So let's see. It's only 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now, we'll see what Powell does. But that's also encouraging. I did see this for those of you guys in the UK. Boris Johnson flies back to Britain to attempt a rapid comeback. So he resigned only 6 weeks ago, and now he wants to go back being prime minister once again for, I guess, his second term. Interesting. I don't know how people feel about this. The other component, Sunak, is the leading candidate right now by the Conservative Party, but who knows? Maybe Boris Johnson reclaims his throne. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but there is that. So it's getting interesting. But also Germany is looking interesting too, because interesting in a bad way, because their reliance on Russian oil and natural gas, right? Now they're turning up their nuclear plants because they're trying to desperately get off and become more energy independent. Thousands are protesting, asking for relief because energy prices have skyrocketed in Germany, right? So the citizens are getting antsy, and this is on top of inflation and top of everything else. So obviously a lot of bad things still happening in Europe and in Germany, but we will see. We will see if some of these things get resolved by year, and probably not. Probably not. We'll probably get a new prime minister in the UK, but as for Germany's situation, does look pretty dire at this point. I don't know if there's a really quick way to become more independent, energy independent, and move to, I don't know, EV, like their cars and everything else, right? All right, so that's kind of the macro stuff. So we have some positive news outside of Germany, right? That could also send things higher. And of course, leading back to Bitcoin, there are many that believe that, what's going on with Germany, what's going on with Japan, what's going on with the US and the UK and everywhere around the world with all the fiat problems, inflation problems, banking problems, right? So of course, we have people like Robert Kiyosaki that has been very, 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 very adamant about getting off of fiat and jumping into gold, silver, and Bitcoin. He loves his gold, he loves his silver, and now he loves Bitcoin because he believes these three things are how you hedge against fiat, how you hedge against governments, right? And he's not alone. Someone else also says Bitcoin as the anti-sovereign fiat play, right? So more and more people are learning about Bitcoin. Right, more and more people want to opt out of the current financial systems, I should say. So that's why there are so many that are turning to Bitcoin. Again, another thing that can drive Bitcoin up, certainly in the long run, because people just want something better. They definitely want something better. And I did see this from Robert Kiyosaki. Sometimes people ask me, hey, George, I have a friend or my mother or my sister or my best friend. You know what? No matter what I say about Bitcoin, they just don't believe it. They think it's backed by nothing, and I can't convince them otherwise, right? Sometimes it's just a lost cause. You do what you can and you try to educate, but there are some that refuse to believe, refuse to listen, and refuse to help themselves. So this is what Robert said. Basically, don't teach pigs to sing and waste your time and annoys the pig. Why waste your time on pigs? They're stupid. Their minds are closed. Buy gold, silver, and Bitcoin and sing while pigs are crying. Take care. I mean, he said it very bluntly, but honestly, that's true. There are some people that, hey, you know what? They just don't want to learn, right? But as long as you do, as long as you know, you're better for it, right? So you do what you can, and you ignore the haters or the ones that truly just refuse to believe otherwise. All right, what else is there? Ethereum, very positive for Ethereum. You know, the deflationary aspect to now post-merge is definitely kicking in. You could see after post-merge, the Ethereum inflation, still there was a little bit and it went up slightly, but now it's coming down in a big way. It could be dropping but before or pre-merge numbers and continue to go down. So the deflationary aspect of the burning and with the decrease of new ETH issuance is definitely having an effect on Ethereum. This is why I'm bullish on Ethereum, even though they haven't figured out quite how to scale yet. But in the near term, this is definitely very, very positive as less and less ETH is being put out in the market and more is being burned. In fact, yeah, a ton of Ethereum is being bought by whales right now. So over the last few months? No, even less than just a 1.5 months. Now addresses holding 1 million or more ETH have increased by 14%. So think about that, right? I've been showing you guys a lot of these metrics about the whales buying behind the scenes. Yeah, they're still doing it. Not just with Bitcoin. They're doing it with Ethereum. Also, I have one about Chainlink. Also about Doge. Any big project out there, you got some whales that's really accumulating right now. So, very, very positive. Let's see here. Yeah, I just got done. Chainlink, also a ton of whales stocking up on Link right now as well. The same thing. I don't have everything, but the same day you can find metrics all day long about whales stocking up on Cardano, stocking up on even Solana, stocking up on Polkadot, Polygon, right? These guys, they know what they're doing. They're buying behind the scenes when things are low, when others are panicking, right? That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. Same thing on Polygon. Couple Polygon metrics for you guys. Active users is now, I mean, it's higher than Ethereum. That's how great that is. Their active users is greater than Ethereum right now because they have no scaling limitations. So they could scale infinitely, really, and it shows. And then the number of dApps on board, over 37,000 and continues to climb. So this is the reason why I'm very bullish on Polygon overall. As for Polkadot, interesting enough, Gavin Wood, ex-co-founder of Ethereum, he steps down as CEO because he wants to become the chief architect. He doesn't want to be CEO. He wants to be developing and promote a mass adoption of Polkadot, Web 3.0, and everything else that comes with it, right? So he's not quitting by any means. He's not leaving Polkadot, but someone else is going to take the role of CEO while he could concentrate on developing. And if you think about it, that makes sense. Gavin Wood is a programmer. If you look at what he did for Ethereum, I believe he's the one that he wrote smart contracts, right? So he's a very, very smart guy when it comes to development. So this makes sense. And even Charles said this about him. From the brief time I spent with Gavin, from his work over the last half decade, I think this new role suits him very well. He's a great development this is a great development for Polkadot's growth. So good stuff. Good stuff overall. All right, guys. So let's do some Q&A. I don't have any water with me, so no point of going to mute. All right. How are you guys this Saturday morning? It's beautiful out, right? It's beautiful out, but then it's going to get cold again. So, let's see here. Crypto Will says ADA ETH to pump. I don't disagree. I just got done talking about ETH. I think the ETH burn is more important now, or not? No, it's more impactful. That's what I mean to say. It's more impactful now because ETH issuance have dropped so much. So, yeah. Let's see. That's good hopium. That's why I'm here. Mercedes SUV too pricey. It is, but if you want the best of the best, you know, that's Mercedes for you. The brand, they built such a image and lifestyle, I guess, that comes with that image. That's why they could charge what they charge. Hedera implemented native staking for HBAR. Well, that's good. That's very good. Any project that doesn't have staking and will be implementing staking, I think that's pretty good. I thought Hedera had that already. I didn't know that was recent, but so that's good. Chainlink is also getting staking soon, and then there's one other project. I forget which one. Where's that graph that I started with? Yeah, this one, right? It's an interesting one. Floor and Decor. Floor and Decor, the company. I bought some nice wood floors from Floor and Decor before. Hey, George, is it better at this moment to buy a full BTC or buy little by little? I can't answer that for you, man. It depends on your financial situation, depends on how much money you have to DCA. Because if you don't have any spare cash and you go all in on one BTC and it drops down back to 18,000, you go say, oh, well, that's bad time. You go second guess yourself. So it really depends on how much cash you have, what's your long-term goals. Can you continue to DCA, right? But right now, it's certainly a good time to be buying. Yeah, ApeCoin, that's the other one. Yeah, I knew there was another one. There's a few projects that hasn't enabled staking yet. But staking, if you think about it, is good because not only it gives people rewards, but it really gives people a way to hodl. It gives them a reason to hodl because now they have their coins locked up. That means less people are panicking, less people are panic selling. So overall staking, that's why it's good. And then with staking, you can elaborate on that, you know, and build up DeFi that way. It's all good stuff. Vic, thank you. Appreciate that. Only one Bitcoin, no matter the price, is a great achievement. That is true. It's much easier to own one Bitcoin when it was at 3,000 or when it was at 10,000, right? But right now, much easier to accumulate one Bitcoin than say 69,000 or 40,000 or 50,000, right? So it's all about perspective. But regardless, it's one Bitcoin. Doesn't matter if Bitcoin is 1,000 or 3,000 or 10,000, 100,000, $1 million. It's one Bitcoin. Right now, we all have to we're all judging Bitcoin by comparing it to USD, right? But USD dollars are being inflated and devalued each and every day, and it's getting worse. So we're comparing to something that is getting more and more worthless. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is not. One day, we might compare everything to sats instead, right? And we don't compare it to USD. Then things will be very, very interesting. D. Keenan, well, you'll find out that DCA portfolio, I DCA into it every Wednesday night. So if you want to know how it's doing, tune in Wednesday night. Carl, is it still good to hold ETH for long term despite the rumors of it being centralized? It might be classified as a security. Yes, yes, because those are rumors. People are speculating. And anyways, what's your thoughts? Who cares what the rumors say? Have you done your own research? Do you think it's centralized? And do you think it'll be classified as security? Right? Don't just take other people's word for it. Do your own research and determine if it's true. And if so, if you think, then don't be holding on to Ethereum, right? So you decide. Don't listen to what other people say. You decide. Do some homework. Bob the Lego nerd. Hey, you know I love Legos. But I don't have time to build any. I built the new Nano Gauntlet. It's in my background, but you can't really see it. The camera cuts off. That's the last thing I built. What do you think about BFI, RSK, and DEX like Sovereign? I'm not too familiar with them, so I can't really comment. So anything centralized will we consider as security? No, that's not true. That's not true. Security, what's deemed as security is different. Okay, you got the SEC has their Howey test, but sometimes they just wing it and say, hey, that's a security. So that's why the Ripple lawsuit is so important. I think Ripple's going to win, and when they do, it'll push back on SEC, so they can't just do whatever the hell they want and just call everything a security. Grandpa Rocks, a few months ago, cash was trash. Now everyone goes cash. That's not true. Even though it's important to have cash, but cash is still trash. But it's just you need to have cash to be able to buy other things. So that's the reason why. But being in 100% cash, I don't think that's the right move. As low as we are right now with Bitcoin, and you could argue the same thing with equities, with some of your favorite companies, right? This is a time to be buying. Doesn't mean that you have to be reckless and put all your cash in right now, right? But I think the smart thing is to have investments, to be buying now, to hodl, right? And then when things come back up, like what you see here, all those green circles, once things come back up, they come up very, very fast, very, very quick. That's why you're holding for those huge upsides, and you don't want to be missing them. If you do, then it kind of just ruined the whole thing, right? So that's why you don't want to be 100% in cash, but having cash is important so you can continue to DCA and continue to buy low. So it's kind of a mix between the two. It's a game of buying and selling. Glad I loaded up on Aptos. Good for you, but I'm going to stay far away. Far, far away from that FTX invested project. So much going on with SBF and FTX and his self-proposed rules and all that stuff. Yeah. And plus Facebook is involved with Aptos. There's so much stuff, controversy. I'm staying far away from it. A lot of times, very hyped up. The last project that was just hyped up was ICP. And remember what it did. It shot up to the top 10. I think it shot up to the top 5. But look at where they are now. Does anyone talk about ICP anymore? Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. All right, guys. Oh, shoot, I closed it. Oh, no, I did. No, I didn't. I closed it. All right, guys, to conclude, hey, if you're thinking about buying, this is a great opportunity. I showed you guys why. There's so many metrics out there that show that the bottom is in. Things are going to get better. So stay strong, stay focused, and keep holding. I'll see you guys later, okay? Tomorrow, same time, 10:30 or no, 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. In the meantime, go check out my other videos as well. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Take care. Bye-bye.